So we will be chanting today 13th through 16th. But let's begin. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karvavahai, tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Shanti Shanti Shanti. Atha dvitiyodhyayah Shri Bhagavanuvacha Dehinosmin yatha dehe Kaumaram yauvanam jara Tatha dehantara praptihi Dhirastatra namuhyate Matra sparshantu kaunteya Shitoshna sukha dukkadaha Agamapayino nityaha Tam stitikshasva bharata Yam hina vyathayantyete Purusham purusharshabha Samadukha sukham dhiram Somritattvaya kalpate Nasato vidyate bhavaha Na bhavo vidyate sataha Ubhayorapi drishtontaha Tvanayostattvadarshibhihi.
All right. So we will we'll do a little recap. I'll start with the little dhyana shloka. Shruti smriti purananam alayam karunalayam namami bhagavad padam shankaram loka shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyoma Vadvyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om. All right. So we were actually doing number 13, which is Dehi nosmin yatha dehe. So we talked about Bhagwan's arguments were that why are you grieving? You know, when we talk about grieving, it is anushoshanti. That means when you are grieving for a long time, not like you get some sudden news and you are sad, but how fast you come out of it is the point here. It's not like we have to be a stone, you know, it will be experienced, but with the once we understand the difference between the who is experiencing and what is experienced, then we understand, you know, what is his main point here. The main point is that these bodies are continuously going through change, you know, kaumaram yauvanam jara, so they are going to go through changes. So, which is all natural. There is nothing, you know, to grieve about anyway. But what you should understand that I have been there, you have been there, these bodies, all these people have been there, you know, before, they are there now, they will always be there. There is no death in the Dehi. Dehi is the one which is immortal. Dehi is the one which is the enlivener. The body is continuously changing. So why are you attached to this body, you know? And but the other point that he wants to make here is about the Dehi. He used the word Dehi. We talked about it. Why he used the word Dehi? Sri Krishna used the word Dehi in reference to Deha. So when you say Deha, because he is attached to Dehi, he is attached to Deha. Deha means the body. So he is attached to the bodies of these people. He says, why are you attached to these bodies? Understand that they are actually Dehis. They understand who is the enlivener of these bodies. Once you understand that, then there is no grieving, because they are never going to go through any changes. Only the body goes through changes. And he says that when we understand as a toddler versus a youth versus an old age, all these are mutually exclusive. You cannot be a toddler and an old man at the same time. They are all different stages that this body has to go through. So once you understand it, then Dehantarah Prapti means even after death of this body, a new body will come. So nothing to grieve about. This is at a beginner's level. He's teaching that, that don't get too attached to that. Your problem is because you are so attached to this particular body. So anyways, so he continues and he says all this is happening because of your wrong understandings, because of your avidya only. This is happening. You are attached to the upadhis and not to upadhi means the what do you call it, the conditionings. This is a conditioned thing. So anyway, we will go through this many times. So just right now understand this much, that there is a difference between Dehi, which is the enlivener, and Deha, which is the body. So they are different. And he says focus on the Dehi, not on the Deha, because Deha is constantly changing. But Arjuna says, you know what? I understand that there is a changeless and absolute I. I have read that too. But I am not, grieving about that. I am grieving about the death of the changing body itself, that I am more concerned about this body only. So my shoka is immediate. How do you solve that problem? So he says, okay. So then we go to the next one. Matra sparshastu kaunteya. Oh, Kaunteya. Here he uses two names of Arjuna, Kaunteya and Bharata. We'll talk about that, why he used those two words. He says, oh, all these sukha dukkha is happening because of when the sense objects and the sense organs come in contact. So when the sense objects and the sense organs come in contact, certain emotions are caused. Matra sparsha. This matra here is used for objects. Here the object can be the sense objects and the sense organs. They are actually both not I. They are all an Atma only. So these two, when they come in contact, O Kaunteya, Shitoshna Sukha Dukkha Daha. You experience the Shita and Ushna, the heat and the cold, the pleasant, unpleasant, the Sukha, Dukkha. All the pairs of opposites are experienced when the sense objects come in contact with sense organs, And what is the nature of this coming in contact? Agama payino anitya. Anitya means they are never permanent. They are there for a short time. Agama means they come and they go. So any experience that we have in this world are all agama payino anitya. Remember this, that they come, they stay for a short time and then they go. Nothing ever stays permanent. There is nothing nitya. There is nothing permanent here. Here, this whole thing is about nitya anitya vivek. So we go from, and I'll explain that, nitya anitya vivek to sat asat vivek. So, and we'll discuss that in a minute. So matra sparshan is when there is a contact of, just like eyes come in contact with, say, a Netflix show, or you come in contact when your son walks in, the joy that you experience, or if there is the person that you don't like, he walks in, then what emotions are created is all matra sparshena. That means when they come in contact, heat, cold, sukh, dukh, pleasant, unpleasant, all kinds of praise, insult, everything is happening with the, like you hear somebody saying, oh, you know what, you are so good. And then you say, oh, wow, who is this guy? Let me make friends with him. Or if you hear some, there comes this guy, somebody says something nasty about us, well, that's also matra sparshena. So all these things are agama payino anitya. They are come, they go. They can be, there is no permanence in that. So who is defining what kind of experience we will have? I define. Sometimes the same person can give a pleasant experience, at other time it can give an unpleasant experience. So those things also keep changing. So it's not necessary a certain object will give the same experience to me again and again. It can be, and the same thing we can say for the same object will not have the same experience for other people. So that experience is also dependent on my state of mind. Okay, it is agama paino. So what should I do? He says, tam titikshasva bharata. Those who have gone through the Tattva Bodha, they know that there are 6 Shat Sampatti, the 6 values that we have to develop. And one of them is endurance, titiksha. Titiksha is the way that we develop ability to endure any kind of change. So it comes, it'll go. So once you have that understanding, there is somebody comes and say your wife doesn't like that person, say kaun aa gaya, you say koi baat nahi, 2 minute par 10 minute mein chala jayega. That's where your vivek comes in and says, okay, it is only temporary, it is not going to be forever. So that is what is that is where we develop this value of tam titikshasva. You'd endure it. That's what the message of Bhagwan is to Arjuna. He says, and I told you, he uses the 2 names for Arjuna. One is, O Kaunteya. Kaunteya is son of Kunti. Think you are son of Kunti. Think about how much she has endured. She was a single mom right from, the time you guys were little, and she has raised you up. She was the one who had to go through so much problems, living in a jungle at one time, and then moved to a very hostile family, which was not very friendly to all of you guys. But she endured it. She was the one, she went through where she saw her own kids being humiliated by Duryodhan, but she endured that. So, it's a greatness of your mother. You are son of that Kunti. So you think about it, oh Kaunteya, you are son of that great mother. See, mothers go through a lot. So there is a lot of titiksha that they have to raise kids, because kids go through, kids kind of give you a lot of challenge. So anyway, so can't you handle this much? This is what Bhagwan is telling Arjuna. He's giving gyan as well as he's also telling him the techniques, how to handle it. Here he says, all these things that you are talking about, you are fine just, 10 minutes back when we walked into the middle of the battlefield and you saw something, that sparsha, that contact came of your sense organs, which is your eyes, with Bhishma, then all the memories of Bhishma and Drona came alive in you. And that's what changed everything. You didn't see that this is all, this sukha dukkha is all temporary, so, O Kaunteya. And the other one is Bharata. Bharata is, one thing is that belong to the Bharat Vansh, which is the great Bharat Raja. And the other is Bha. Bha means the knowledge, and Ratha means the one which is reveling in knowledge. So Bharata is not just a country. It is the people who are reveling in that knowledge is Bharata. So our Bharata can be anywhere we are if we are reveling in this knowledge. So oh my great Kaunteya, you should understand, handle these ups and downs. They will come and go. This is all arising in our mind. This is not something outside. So stay firm, develop this titiksha. And some points that I wanted to bring up from the Shankar Bhashya, I thought. So here the Arjuna may say, I am not worried about the Nitya Atma. I am getting shoka from two sources. One is that separation from the objects of sukha. Who is the object of sukha? Drona and Bhishma. Every time they met, he felt so happy, So they are the centers of my joy, So I don't want to lose that. Once they go, then who will I go to, to feel that joy? And the other is uniting with the sorrows, which is these Duryodhans and Dushasans of the other team. So either ways, I don't want to separate from Bhishma and Drona because they are reverential to me, and they also give me a lot of happiness. Their presence give me a lot of happiness. So here we are talking about the contacts. Contact means when things come in the mind. See, let me give you an example. Suppose you hear a bad news, about somebody that is very close to us. We hear the bad news and we feel very heartburn, we feel very sad about that situation, that, how could this happen? This person was so nice and everything. And then your mind goes to some other thought, that something that you had experienced yesterday, and then a smile comes on your face because now the mind is now reveling in something different than this news. So point is that as long as that mind is reveling or mind is engaged in that thought, only then we experience it. Or when you go to sleep, all the thoughts, you may be in a very, sorrowful state, but when you are in deep sleep, it doesn't matter. You are in, totally in the Atma Sukha, there is nothing bothering you in the deep sleep. So it all depends on when this mind is engaged in that thought. So, so here, little analysis of that. So what is happening is, as long as we have this Dvaitam means when you have a experiencer and experienced, when you have these two coming in contact with each other, which is most of the time, that is called Dvaita, when there is a differentiation. You don't feel anything in the deep sleep is because there is no Dvaita. It is totally Advaita at that time. There is only oneness. There is no experiencer. There is no experienced. So you are in the state of bliss. Here we are talking about in the state of Dvaita, which is experienced and experiencer. They both belong to Anitya. And I'll, in the next couple of verses that is going to be discussed. Even when we are listening to this Advaita, it is in Dvaita only. There is a teacher, there is a student, there is something being taught and something being grasped. So all these are in Dvaita, because in Advaita there is no teacher, there is no student. It is only pure oneness. There is mind has no distractions. Mind is totally at peace. That's what we call peace, Shanti. There is a famous example of one guru. This is actually from Swami Chinmayanand's biography, where his guru asked him one time, he was asking, Guruji, why, you teach me about Brahman, about Atma. Why are you bringing in all these non-Atma stuff? Just give me that only. So there Bhagwan, there his guru said, okay, one time he said, can you bring me some water? So he says, okay, I'll bring you water. So he got a cup or a lota, brought water for his guru. And when he brought it, he says, I only asked you for pani. Why did you bring this lota or this cup? Can you bring water without the cup? He says, how can I do that? So he says, so the point is that you take what is necessary to get into this understanding, and then you have to drop the teacher and the teaching also. Anyways, we are going ahead of ourselves here. But point here is that we have to understand how to separate the real from unreal. That's the bottom line. This is what is called Viveka, where you can separate the real from unreal. Okay. So when we are listening, and why is titiksha important? That is also we have to understand. Why is titiksha important? Suppose we have a main goal. Our goal is Atma Gyan. Forget Atma Gyan. My goal is to become CEO of my company, right? If suppose I get so bogged down with day-to-day problems, then I will have no time to focus on my higher goal. So when we are engaged in just solving my day-to-day problems, or just in the experiencing of sukha dukkha, joys and sorrows, and that's all that consumes me 99% of my time, then I have basically no time for something higher. If I understand this titiksha, I understand that things these are all temporary things. Let me maybe take few minutes to solve it. Instead of 99% of my time, let me spend 60% of my time in this and 40% of my time in the higher goal. Then we can achieve anything in this world. See, our main problem is not that we don't have the goal. Our problem is we don't have time for that goal. Our time is now, this is called the leakages of our mind, that we spend so much time in this Shitoshna, Sukha Dukha, which is basically temporary things that are not going to be, that we have to let go. But we get so consumed by it that we don't have time for higher goals. So that's why Bhagwan is giving this instruction to Arjuna to let go. That's what titiksha is. Don't let go of your main goal, but let go of these agama paino anityaha. Agama paino is that which is coming and going. You know that it is not going to stay, but we get consumed by it. So see, also another thing about titiksha is that there is something called necessity and something called not necessary. What is happening is our definitions of the necessities change over time. First I was happy with my 1-bedroom apartment, with 2 sets of clothes, maybe 1 vehicle. But then slowly these things change. Now I need a full what is called wardrobe of new clothes. We have to have multiple cars, we have to have big house, we have to, so all these things keep changing and those become our necessities. So titiksha is where we can let go of what is not necessary. So anyways, Bhagwan doesn't say that not having thing is titiksha. So see, sometimes we may misunderstand that, okay, Bhagwan maybe he's telling that you shouldn't have anything. No. Bhagwan is not saying that not having things is titiksha. Bhagwan is saying that anything which is arising temporarily, you have to learn to let go. So you may have everything, but if something goes, let it go. If something comes, let it come. You don't have to, your life should not depend on what you are getting, because things will come and go. That is the nature of things. So simply bear it with a smile. So that's what this titiksha is. So and stay on the main goal, never lose that. So question is, where do I invest my time? Where you have the highest ROI. Any business person will tell you that wherever is the highest ROI, return on investment, that's where you should spend your time. And where is the highest return on investment? Where I can focus on something higher. The highest is the Jivan Mukti or Moksha. But let's say you have material goals also. For material goals also, this is important. That we cannot, so now he